Hey, it's Todd at Hunterworks. Been wanting to make this video. Got a little tech article on it, but sometimes people like to watch it. Get a lot of questions about what causes belt failures, and thought we'd cover. I call this video 10 reasons why your belt fails, but I didn't actually count them, but it's probably 10, and it's probably really a lot more. But before we get started even on the belt failure, as I like to advertise, obviously we make our own belts. They're great belts. You go, well, you would think I'd want you to tear up your belt so you buy more, but that's the furthest for the truth. We actually want everything you ever purchase from us to survive, and I actually wanted to make your life better and easier on your clutch. If you look on our website, that's why there's so many clutch products, but each and every one of them helps you. So let's get started on this, and I actually kind of got a script. If you see me looking over this way, I'm kind of looking at it, and the reason is because we got so much ground to cover. This video covers most of the razors. This is an 18 Razor 1000, most razors 900,000, some Rangers, not really a turbo, but there is some things in here that would cover a turbo in different year models. And like I said, since I have an 18, which is the same as 16 and 19, everything in there certainly covers those XP 1000s, and we can filter through the rest. The number one reason for belt failures, as you probably already seen on social media and whatnot, is driving style, how you drive it. I mean, from anybody from not wanting to get the loading ramps out for the trailer and burning it up, or rock crawling and getting in a bind and all that. I mean, you gotta keep in mind that how this clutch works. You got a primary clutch that's turning at idle, and a secondary that's not, and a belt that's not. And that clutch that's turning has to come in and squeeze on that belt to get you moving. Well, if you got such a bind here, it's gonna slip and you're gonna burn it. Or if you got heavy loads where it's literally slipping on it, you're gonna burn it. Now that's, that's the part on the driving style or jumping. I'll give you an example of jumping. This very razor right here, I put one of our thick belts on, and I'd added a helix that had more engine braking, and then launched it on a racetrack. I don't know what I was thinking, I should know, but the two didn't mix well. So when I landed, that EBS was in effect, and all the excess belt shot up and hit the exhaust duct and the back cover, which I have it right here. All right, I'm gonna move in closer. You can see, stay in this light, right in here, this exhaust duct is tore up, and you'll see this mark. All right, this tore up was me. There was nothing wrong with the parts or the belt. It was basically what I was doing that caused such a catastrophic failure. All right, so that's just an example of driving style problems. All right, the next topic is clutch kits. I'm not trying to sell you a clutch kit. As a matter of fact, I don't sell more clutch kits than I sell, because so many people call here that are slow people with bigger tires. They're mostly using low, and somebody's told them, and even other clutch kit competitors have told them they need a clutch kit. And I'm sure somebody will argue me on this, but that's okay. This is what I can live with. Slow people need belt grip. Faster people, accelerating people need RPM. That's where the clutch kit comes in. So if you got 32-inch tires and you haul ass, you need to slow the shift out down, bring RPM up to propel you quicker. You go slow that same machine down with the same setup, trying to rock crawl, you don't get as much belt grip because the weights are lighter and the springs are stiffer. Okay, so that's when I say clutch kits. If you're a dooner and paddles, you need it because you're putting such a load on it and lugging it, creating heat. If you're a slow guy, you need belt grip. It may not be for you, or like I said, it's slower and faster. So when somebody says, do I need one? It depends on what your riding style more than anything else. Let's talk about clutch alignment and spacing. Now I'm going to be shooting to a different camera angle here in a minute and do it. What we're talking about here is your crankshaft and your transmission alignment and spacing, the distances between them and whether they're like this. And we'll go to, like I said, go to this other camera angle in a minute to show you something in here. All right, and there's only one tool that I'm aware of that'll do both. There's shaft spacing tools, but there's no real alignment tool, even though they're called that, and this SDI alignment tool is the only one that'll do it. Here's an image of what the tool looks like. All right, so you see that, and it can get off. My personal unit, after just 300 miles, when I checked it for some belt stuff, I was a 1/16 of an inch off, and my transmission was angled. So I personally used the tool to put on here and get shaft space and alignment right, because both of them can cause belt problems. One is causing your belt to hit that cover. If it's the same thing I showed you a minute ago from my activity, when your shaft spacing is off, your belt is slack, and on decel the excess goes up and hits that duct. So that's a big issue. So let's cut away to the other camera and show you what we're talking about here. Okay, here's what we're talking about here is the distance between here and here should be 10.5 inches exactly. And that tool that I showed you in that picture sets it, and then how parallel these are to each other. Now, an additional problem that people can have is here's your engine, here's your transmission, and here's the mount in between them. You'll see 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here, and there's 2 on the other side. This mount can actually break. These bolts can come out. They can loosen up. All of these things can happen and can certainly cause you belt problems. I had a guy tell me when he revved his up, this shaft moved a 1/2 inch closer to that one. Well, seeing how that's made, how's that possible? Because something in here wasn't right. So it can be as simple as an adjustment issue or something broke causing these problems. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is secondary rollers. And the first secondary we're going to talk about is this style right here. All right, so like I said, I'm going to zoom in. This secondary style with these smaller rollers has been used, and you can see the removable helix has been used all the way back to 08 razors and some models. Now there's some models that don't have that, but if you have external rollers, the OE rollers or the Torlon, we got pictures of people buying aftermarket Torlon rollers and some other competitor rollers that there's flat spot and don't hold up, and so when they flat spot, your secondary doesn't want to move efficiently, and it binds and it causes belt problems. Now the biggest issue of secondary rollers is the newer one. I don't have mine's here for this 18 model, but I've already got our large rollers in it. I'm going to put you a picture in here in just a second to show you what those square pucks look like if you've never seen yours, and the potential damage they cause. The picture I'm going to show you is actually the worst one I've ever seen, but I get pictures all the time from these ruined secondaries from that square deal. All right, so not only does it ruin your secondary, but it stops it from moving like it's supposed to, binding up, causes belt problems. So again, these are our secondary rollers that replace the square. I'm going to put a link in down at the bottom up under here to get to these rollers so you can take a look at it. All right, I'm fixing to put you in a picture here of what the damage from the square pucks looks like. Now take a look at that. That's awful. It can easily be prevented with our rollers. All right, the next reason, or one of the top reasons that people have belt problems is, and it's very common. I mean, I've had a vehicle with 80 miles on it have a spider nut and spider back off. So here's your primary clutch, and when I say spider nut and spider, you're not probably going to be able to see, but it's down inside here underneath this spring, or inside the spring, there's a nut, and this thing right here with the rollers in it, it's called a spider. Well, this half of the clutch is actually screwed down. There's a center shaft here. It's screwed down, and what happens is this spider and nut back off over time, and it doesn't take but about a half a turn, and these two halves aren't as close. It can't grip as well, and you'd be banging off a rev limiter. Now, I've seen them come completely off, the nut, I've seen this come completely off, or I've seen them just a half a turn out make a difference. So that is a big problem there. While we're on primaries, another reason that you have problems with these things, and it's extremely common, and I'm kind of going to get a little closer here, is a roller right up inside this spider right there. There's a roller that your flyweights run on. Your flyweight just says psst, and it rolls against a roller to close this clutch up in a flat spot. Now there's people out there say you can rebuild it. In today's date, we do not know of a roller worth installing after the fact that lasts longer. So we typically tell people to buy a new primary clutch at that point. You know, so but I will say the tools if you want to work on it and do it anyway. Another reason why we're on these primary clutches is that they're just simply wore out. Now I know somebody's going to argue with this point, and that's fine with me, but when people call here and want to buy a new primary, I always ask them, how many miles you got on your clutch? Well, the answer is 2,500 to 3,000 on primary. Should they last longer? Sure. But me and you normally don't do any maintenance. Now we've got a cleaning video on our site somewhere on YouTube, show you how to give it a good cleaning. So that's yet another reason. All right, here's yet another one. An old blue washer. I got a whole video on this talking about belt travel. There's people who do a lot of high-speed running or 70, 80 miles an hour. Their belt travel is high in their primary and drops into the secondary, and it can travel too far, heat the belt up. And if you got like a Gates belt, and again, I've said this several times, I apologize, I've sold them for years and didn't even know it till we got our own and was doing belt testing to what was causing inside teeth to come out. But that belt's actually too short, and then couple it with short belt travel, it pulls the teeth all the way into the secondary clutch and pulls the teeth out. But the OE belts, our belts, still travel too far, but it ain't the belt's fault. All right, so Polaris is supposed to have one of these in your primary clutch already. Sometimes they leave them out. I've seen them leave spider nuts out. 14 model even says it has two in there. And I've seen those that didn't have but one. So we're recommending you run two. Watch our whole video on it. It's called How to Stop Blowing Razor Belt. So you can get the full Monty there. When we were talking about that tool, that alignment tool that I showed you the image of, it's one thing I forgot is once you get that set up and get it locked back in, of course there's a video on that too, we also sell a lock plate that locks the motor and transmission in position, so hopefully it doesn't come back apart. I suppose another reason, I mean not suppose, it really is, another reason is hot clutches. What are you doing? Are you in snow and you're in deep mud? Are you, whatever it is, heat is always going to be the enemy. Now I'm anti-snorkel personally. Some people get away with it, some people don't. If you're going to make them, 2 inch in my opinion ain't big enough. Three or larger is great. I don't know if you'll see it very well here, but there's an inline blower that we sell in mine. These clutch systems do not flow a lot of air at slower speeds under 7,000 RPM. It's negligible. So we sell an inline blower. Sure, you could make your own out of a bilge blower or whatever, but don't get caught up in that CFM stuff. Who measured it? Where did they measure it? Whatever. This blower here is specifically made for the task, and it's done right, and it goes in 5 minutes and plugs up right there to the left brake line harness. So I mean it's an easy install. All right, so as you can see, there's really a bunch of reasons why clutches might fail. The reason we make this video is to inform you. A customer this morning I was talking to on the phone, he said, I really appreciate your videos and your tech articles, I can learn. Well, yeah, that's kind of our deal. That's the Hunterworks way. Here's a widget, why you need it, how to put it on, what it does for you. We don't want to just be known for selling products. We want to help educate you on the clutching stuff as best as I know. Do I know it all? No. But I want to help you as much as we can. We sell belts and clutch parts and all this stuff, sure. But if you'll think about each and every piece, they have an integral part to making your vehicle more reliable, perform better, and keep you riding and not on trail, on the side of the trail somewhere. So that's kind of the whole reason for our products and the videos. The last thing I'll cover is, and I don't say this because we sell belts, I tell you this because it is the truth. This whole video is about what destroys belts. If you notice, the one thing I did not say destroys belts is the belt itself. As long as you have a quality belt, and of course in my opinion, the OE is a good belt and Hunterworks is a good belt. And then there's some stragglers out there, but when we set to make our belt, we wanted to make it better than the OE. We did. That point is arguable. However, the way I look at that is, if it's made extremely similar, some models is thicker, so that makes it better, more durable, it's less money, and it has a warranty, and our failure rate is only 1%. How is anything any better? I can make it out of kryptonite and it couldn't be better. So my point is the belt is usually the victim and not the cause of your troubles. People say, I need a better belt. No, unless you're buying crappy ones, then your problems are elsewhere. You say, well, I put so-and-so's on and it lasted one trip, put this one on, it was fine. Chances are you have what I call a one-time event, like I was talking about jumping with a thick belt in the EBS, or you did something. You know, the true test of anything is to repeat and repeat. Do it 3 times, and if it repeats all 3 times, then you can count it out. But anyway, I'm getting running on about belts. So anyway, if you got any questions about any of this stuff, give me a call here at Hunterworks, shoot me an email, todd@hunterworks.com, leave some comments below. Like I said, please subscribe. There's a little button right here in the corner you can barely see. If you click on it, it lets you subscribe. Below the video down there is a subscribe button. Normally there's going to be a little eye up in this corner too. Click on it, it's a link to our website, a link below, so it's going to be hard to miss us. But we are here to help you. And again, if you got any questions, holler at me here at Hunterworks. Thanks.